AIT leaders, ever feel like you're caught between hitting the gas on innovation and then slamming on the brakes for security?
Oh, absolutely.
How much risk is too much, really? And how do you even start to decide what's, acceptable for your organization?
It's the ultimate tightrope walk, isn't it? I mean, every exciting new technology, every market opportunity, it seems like it often comes bundled with a whole new set of vulnerabilities.
Exactly.
The real challenge is being proactive about that, right?
Yeah.
Not just constantly reacting to fires.
Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today on the Deep Dive. We're cracking open Chapter 18, Managing Risk from the Adventures of an IT Leader.
Great book.
Yeah, we're going to unpack the crucial lessons CIO Jim Barton learned from his CEO at IVK, Carl Williams, and then connect them directly to your world strategic information systems, IT service management, digital transformation.
Mm-hmm. And this chapter, it's really like a masterclass in shifting IT's role, moving it from just a technical fix and shop to being a true strategic partner.
Yeah.
It really shows how essential it is for IT leaders to, well, speak the language of business risk and opportunity.
Definitely. So as we explore these insights today, maybe take a moment to think about how they echo in your own experiences.
Good idea.
And hey, if this discussion sparks something for you, we'd love it if you reflect on what stands out, maybe even share your thoughts later.
Okay, so let's set the scene then.
Let's do it. So Jim Barton, he's the CIO at IVK, finds himself in this surprise multi-hour one-on-one meeting with the CEO, Carl Williams.
And just huge, right?
Massive shift. I mean, not long ago, Barton could barely get 5 minutes to talk about IT stuff.
Yeah.
But now the company's stock price is up, the whole atmosphere's better, and Williams seems, well, genuinely receptive.
And that change in dynamic, it's incredibly telling, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It really signals a critical shift in how the CEO is viewing IT.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe before IT was seen as just, a cost center, a necessary evil. But with performance improving, Williams is finally ready to engage on a deeper level, strategically.
Right.
It kind of underlines that sometimes the timing for these big conversations, it only really opens up when the business feels stable enough to look beyond the immediate crisis.
And Barton, smartly, he comes prepared. He knows IVK's IT infrastructure is really at a crossroads after that damaging denial of service attack they had.
Yeah, bad.
They applied patches, sure, but loads of vulnerabilities are still just lingering. And Barton's big realization, that 100% protection, it's simply, like he says, a pipe dream.
It really is. You can't guarantee it.
He gets that there will always be some residual risk. So the core question for him becomes, how much risk is actually acceptable? And crucially, how much money should they really spend trying to mitigate it?
And this right here, this is where Barton shows that strategic leadership. He gets it.
Yeah.
IT risk isn't just some technical problem for his team to fix in a silo. It's a strategic business decision. It absolutely demands that top-level buy-in. Only the CEO, Carl Williams in this case, with that whole enterprise view, can really define how much risk IVK should take on.
Makes sense.
It's about shifting from just, reactively patching things
Yeah, fighting fires.
to having a proactive, strategic conversation about business risk. Because you simply can't bulletproof everything without basically grinding all innovation to a halt.
You really can't. And this leads beautifully into Williams's fascinating counterpoint, his poker lessons.
Ah, the poker story, yes.
So Williams comes back with coffee. Barton's explaining how even with all the precautions, things could still go wrong. Williams's face just lights up.
Yeah, he jumps right in.
And he tells the story about a game called In Between.
Right. So he describes holding an ace and a 2. And in this game, In Between, you bet if the next card drawn falls, well, between your 2 cards.
Okay.
With an ace and a 2, the odds were massively in his favor. I mean, think about it. Only 6 losing cards left in the whole deck.
Wow, seems like a sure thing.
Almost. And then, boom, he draws another 2, he loses.
Ouch.
And apparently it happened again later that night.
No way. But what's so compelling is how Williams reflects on it, right? He says, the decision I made was entirely sound both times, but the outcome stunk.
Exactly. His point is crucial. Sometimes you make the sound choice and still lose. Luck has something to do with it, always.
It really illustrates that key difference between a sound decision and a good outcome.
They aren't always the same thing.
Yeah.
And as leaders, we often, mix those two up.
Totally. And Barton, he immediately connects this to Williams's really controversial decision from the previous summer.
Ah, yes, the potential security breach.
Right. The one Williams decided not to disclose. Barton had advised transparency, but Williams, well, he rolled the dice.
And got lucky.
By sheer luck, yeah. The breach didn't cause any visible damage. But Williams openly admits to Barton, calls it a shaky decision that happened to work out purely by sheer luck.
And that highlights a huge leadership challenge, doesn't it? Luck can play a part, sure, but consistently relying on luck, that's, as Williams says, no strategy.
Definitely not sustainable.
And Williams's candor here, his honesty, it's so important. He's not bragging about getting away with it.
No, he's admitting the poor judgment.
Exactly. He's acknowledging the uncertainty and, frankly, the bad call involved in that past win. And that signals to Barton, okay, the CEO is ready for a mature conversation about real risk management.
Moving beyond wanting zero risk.
Right, moving towards accepting calculated risks. This kind of honest leadership, learning from the past, even the lucky breaks, and really fostering a culture where leaders admit uncertainty. That's absolutely critical.
So from poker, Williams then pivots to another really powerful analogy.
Yeah, deciding what kind of player you are in the business world.
Are you that conservative incumbent, just focused on minimizing losses, never really winning big?
Playing it safe.
Or are you a risk-taking challenger, which is how he sees IVK, someone who must take risks to grow?
And that directly frames this core organizational dilemma, doesn't it? Innovation versus stability.
Perfectly.
Williams understands, maybe implicitly, that for IVK to compete, to grow, they just can't afford to sit still.
They have to take chances.
Which sets the stage beautifully for Barton's brilliant counter-analogy.
Oh, the whisk escalator. I love this one.
Me too. So Barton describes companies trying to run up a downward-moving escalator.
You got to keep moving just to stay put.
Exactly. And then he says there's this switch any company can use to speed up the whole escalator for everyone.
And that switch is risk.
Is the risks a company takes, the innovations, the bold moves. Those things speed up the escalator for the entire industry, forcing all the competitors just to react.
That's such a powerful visual for IVK's strategic position, that tension. As a smaller player, they have to push their speed, even if it means, as Williams admits, some trips and slides from past troubles.
Right. Every innovative project they consider maybe a new mobile app, deeper cloud integration, even dipping their toes into, say, generative AI.
All the hot topics now.
It all introduces new vulnerabilities. The challenge then becomes, okay, how much do we spend on the safety nets for these bold moves?
So much insurance do we buy?
Exactly. And this aligns perfectly with principles you see in modern IT governance frameworks, like COBIT. Executives have to actively balance seizing those opportunities with controlling the risk. It's core corporate governance.
Yeah. Move too slow, you fall behind. Move too fast.
You might break things catastrophically.
Yeah.
The CIO's job, Barton's job here, is to really illuminate that tension for the CEO.
Okay, so the stage is set. They understand the need to take risks. The escalator analogy is clear. Now, how do they actually assess it?
Williams boils it down, right? He asks the core questions. What's the chance of losing? That's likelihood. And if you do lose, how bad will it hurt? That's impact or cost.
Likelihood and impact, the classic risk assessment.
And Barton's ready. He pulls out this simple but really powerful tool, the 2x2 matrix.
Ah, the matrix. Love a good 2x2.
Don't we all? It categorizes risks based on two things. Potential damage. Is it intolerable or tolerable?
Yeah.
And the cost of mitigation. Is it high or low?
Okay.
It just provides a structured way to tackle what could otherwise feel like totally overwhelming decisions.
So break down the 4 boxes for us. How did this matrix help them make choices?
Okay, so first quadrant. What if the potential damage is intolerable, really bad,
Right.
but the cost to fix it, the mitigation cost, is low?
That seems easy.
Absolute no-brainers, exactly. You fix those immediately. Quick wins that prevent potential disasters.
Got it. What's next?
Then you have the risks that are also intolerable, high potential damage, but they come with a high mitigation cost.
Ah, the tricky ones.
Yeah, Williams calls this the dicey area. These are the toughest calls, right?
Hmm.
You either have to seriously reconsider doing the risky thing in the first place,
Uh-huh.
or you invest heavily in reducing that risk. You essentially buy insurance against that catastrophic outcome. Think about maybe a cutting-edge new tech platform with massive unaddressed security holes. Big investment needed.
Okay, that makes sense. What about the other side? Tolerable risk.
Right. So if the potential damage is tolerable, annoying, but not catastrophic, but the cost to protect against it is high,
You probably just live with it.
you bear the risk. Exactly. It's just not worth the big expense to prevent something relatively minor or highly unlikely.
And the last box. Tolerable risk, low cost.
Lowest priority. I mean, if it's cheap and easy to fix, fine. Maybe you do it eventually.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not urgent for the business.
Okay, that framework seems really useful. But that word tolerable, that sounds subjective.
It absolutely is. And that's a critical part of the discussion Barton has with Williams. What does tolerable actually mean for IVK?
So what did it mean for them?
Well, Barton explains it usually means things like a temporary inconvenience, maybe a financial loss the company can easily absorb, or maybe an event that's just highly unlikely to happen.
But the CEO has to agree.
The CEO's comfort level must align. This whole process, it really illustrates a vital management responsibility, right? Senior leadership has to be actively involved in setting that risk appetite, defining those tolerances.
Yeah, it's not just an IT decision.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Barton isn't just presenting technical options here. He's making sure IT's risk decisions line up directly with IVK's overall business strategy. That's key.
So they've got the matrix, they're starting to define tolerance. What comes next?
Well, with the matrix as their guide, Barton then makes this really crucial point to Williams. He says, look, if we consciously decide to accept these tolerable risks,
Oh, I sense a but coming.
it means we will inevitably have some problems. It's going to happen. Not because IT screwed up, necessarily.
Yeah, because it was a deliberate trade-off.
Exactly. An accepted trade-off based on their agreed-upon risk appetite.
This seems like a really important expectation to set.
Oh, massively important. It addresses a significant organizational challenge and a critical management issue all at once. Barton gets it. If they decide not to spend millions making every single system Fort Knox,
Then some things will break sometimes.
some services will have downtime occasionally. And similarly, if they're not locking down absolutely everything, they should probably expect some minor hacker incidents now and then.
It's about setting realistic expectations across the whole company.
Right, and fostering a more mature view of IT service management.
He even points out that, say, the mobile messaging service hiccups, even if they decided that was tolerable.
Folks will howl loudly. That's his phrase.
Yeah, people get upset when things don't work, even minor things.
So he pleads for a no-blame culture, but specifically for these accepted risks. Not for negligence, obviously, but for the calculated trade-offs.
And Williams' buy-in on that is crucial.
Absolutely crucial. That kind of clear, transparent communication from the top leadership, it's vital. It prevents panic, stops myth-directed blame.
And gets everyone on the same page.
Yeah, it aligns management and staff on what level of service is actually deemed acceptable within their strategy. It reinforces good process management teamwork instead of IT looking incompetent when a tolerable risk happens.
The organization understands it was an expected trade-off.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about managing both customer and employee satisfaction. By being transparent and proactive, you turn a potentially chaotic event into just a managed scenario.
Okay, so they've tackled the matrix, the tolerance levels, the need for a no-blame culture for accepted risks. Where does the conversation go from there?
Well, as they're kind of wrapping up the risk matrix discussion, Barton raises one more really strategic question. And this one feels as much about philosophy as it is about technology.
Ooh, intriguing. What is it?
He asks, should IVK implement a sort of general blanket policy for security and availability levels across the board? You know, like all systems must meet level 3 security, critical ones get level 5.
Okay, a categorical approach.
Or should they tailor the security to each specific service, each specific data item, really on a case-by-case basis?
Much more granular. That sounds like a classic IT dilemma.
It really is an organizational and IT dilemma. The general categorical approach, it's simpler, maybe feels more trusting because you're relying on roles and permissions more broadly.
But the downside?
Well, you might end up overprotecting some things that don't need it and maybe leaving some genuinely sensitive items, the real crown jewels, a bit vulnerable.
Okay, so what about the case-by-case approach?
That offers much more precise protection for that truly critical data, think customer financial records at a bank like IVK.
Sounds better, but what's the catch?
The catch is it's way more work, and, maybe more critically, it could lead to really heavy monitoring of employees who handle that sensitive data. It could start to feel like IT is spying on our own people.
Yeah, that could definitely impact morale and trust within the company.
For sure. So you've got this tension, right, between putting in really robust controls, which you need, especially in finance.
And potentially stifling the culture or hurting productivity.
Exactly. How do you integrate strong cybersecurity without undermining the workplace environment? That's a huge IT governance question.
And it ties into modern cybersecurity ideas too, doesn't it?
Definitely. Frameworks are increasingly leaning towards that zero trust model, continuously verifying everything. which kind of aligns more with Barton's granular case-by-case idea.
But it's not just a technical decision.
Absolutely not. The ultimate decision has to fit IVK's specific culture, their overall risk appetite. It's not just about implementing encryption or fancy network monitoring tools.
It's about how those systems mesh with the people.
Yeah, how they integrate with the human element, supporting productivity and trust, not hindering them.
So how did they resolve that one? Case by case or categorical?
Well, in the end, Williams kind of deferred it slightly. He wanted to review the specific IT upgrade proposals Barton had first, before committing to one approach or the other.
Makes sense. Look at the specifics before making a blanket roll. But overall, it sounds like this meeting was incredibly productive for Jim Barton.
Oh, it was a huge success for him. Think about it. He basically got the CEO, Carl Williams, to spend a whole morning thinking like an IT risk manager.
That is a win.
It's the absolute essence of modern IT leadership, isn't it? Barton managed upward brilliantly. He educated his CEO, influenced him, translated these complex IT issues into terms the business could actually grasp. Poker odds, escalators.
Yeah, finding those common analogies.
That's such a critical skill for any IT leader who wants to play a strategic role, not just be seen as the tech guy.
Jim Barton's journey in this chapter really does illustrate that blend you need today, right? Technical understanding, sure, but also strategic thinking and that interpersonal savvy.
Absolutely. He navigates some really critical IT talent, cybersecurity, infrastructure resilience, integrating new tech, but he did it all while tying it back to the broader business goals.
And if we look through those lenses, we often use organizational management IT issues.
Yeah, you can see them all clearly. Organizationally, he aligned IT risk with the business strategy, making sure innovation meant managed risk, not just avoiding risk altogether, that directly impacts productivity, innovation.
And managerially.
He tackled what seemed like weak communication lines before by fostering transparency. He used structured decision processes like that risk matrix instead of just relying on gut feel. That's huge for handling pressure and building trust.
And these lessons feel incredibly relevant right now, maybe even more so.
Oh, absolutely. Think about the strategic risks swirling around AI and generative AI today.
Huge topic.
You've got risks like hallucinated outputs, major IP concerns, privacy leaks, new security vulnerabilities. A CIO today, they'd be asking the exact same kinds of questions Barton and Williams were grappling with.
What kind of player are we going to be with AI?
Exactly. How do we mitigate these completely new risks? How much do we invest in controls, things like AI model monitoring, bias detection tools, data provenance checks?
Versus how much risk do we just accept so we can innovate quickly?
Right. And you see modern frameworks emerging, like NIST's AI Risk Management Framework. They're basically the 2020s equivalent of Barton's 2x2 risk matrix.
And the need for cross-functional buy-in is still there.
More than ever. Just like Barton emphasized getting top leadership involved in IT risk, today's best practices in IT service management, in digital transformation, they all stress executive oversight for things like AI deployment and cybersecurity.
It can't just be IT working in a vacuum.
Definitely not. Effective risk management, it's truly a cross-functional team sport. It needs the business and IT working hand in glove.
So wrapping things up, this deep dive into Jim Barton's managing risk journey really underscores that IT risk management. It's fundamentally a leadership exercise.
It really is. It's about aligning IT risk with the overall business strategy, communicating transparently, honestly.
And embracing a culture that actually understands the difference between calculated risk and reward versus just, negligence.
Yeah, understanding you can't just firewall everything without completely stifling progress. A robust IT strategy means continuously updating your risk assessments for new threats, integrating best practices from frameworks like ITIL or COBIT.
And always balancing that need for security with the need for agility.
Precisely.
Well, we really hope this deep dive into strategic IT risk management has given you some valuable insights.
Yeah, hopefully some food for thought.
We definitely encourage you to reflect on these principles and think about how you might apply them in your own strategic roles.
So here's something to maybe ponder. Think about a current or maybe an emerging technology in your own field. Could be AI, could be something else entirely.
Okay.
How would you apply something like that risk matrix and maybe that concept of a no-blame culture for accepted risks to effectively manage its adoption and all the challenges that come with it within your organization?
That's a great question to chew on. Thanks for tuning in and stay strategic.